I would definitely not recommend going out and shopping before you get pre-approved unless you want to get your feelings hurt. They don't need, a 700 plus credit score. Like we were able to close somebody in January with a 580 credit score. Like we have to, I always kind of equate it to kind of like riding an airplane, right? Like I always say, think of me as like the pilot in the scenario. Like I'll get you there. Do you think you would have gotten that house? And she said, probably. And I said, yeah, you probably would have. And then I said, do it for your kids, because we want to make sure that your kids in the future are secure, right? There's ways around a lot of things. Just talk to somebody. Talk to me.
And that's misconception number one is, hey, Grant, how are you?
Good, dude. What's going on?
Not much. Happy that you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. For the people that don't know you, please introduce yourself.
My name is Grant McKee. I work for Summit Funding. I'm a residential mortgage lender in the Rockwall area. I am a dad. My son is 13 months old, just had his first birthday. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Mackenzie. Grew up in Royce City, Texas, and currently we're staying out in Greenville. Yeah. What else do you want to know?
Oh, so you're staying in Greenville?
Yeah. We bought a house out there back in 2023.
Oh, okay. Cool. And tell people what you do for a living.
So I help people buy houses. I'm a mortgage lender that does, all different kinds of loans. We do first-time homebuyer type of loans. We do FHA, VA, USDA conventional, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Bank statement loans, I-10 loans for people who don't have socials, 1099, like whatever. The only thing that we don't really do is land and commercial. That's really it. Anything else we can help you with. So I help people. If you don't have $1 million in the bank and you need to borrow money to buy a house, that's what I do. I help you borrow money.
Awesome. And this space is really for me to have an excuse to hang out with my friends. I haven't seen you in a while, but also I want to give the viewers value of seeing these conversations, and I think they can get a lot of value out of you, because not a lot of people, or you deal with a lot of people in the daily basis. What is the misconceptions that you run across?
It's funny you say that, because I feel like it's kind of common knowledge now, but I still get people that say that they need 20% down. And I had a conversation with somebody last week that was shocked that I said it was only 3% down. So you always think that most people know this stuff, but they really don't. And they don't need, a 700 plus credit score. Like we were able to close somebody in January with a 580 credit score. Like we were able to get it done even with a 560 before. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of programs out there that people don't really know about. There's a lot of guidelines that sometimes can have some gray area. And if you have somebody in your corner that will fight for you and fight against those guidelines, or make a case for the guideline and how you kind of fulfill the guideline, I guess, if you will, then it kind of makes all the difference in the world. Like a lot of people I've learned in this industry, they want the easy files, right? But what happens with the people who still want to really buy a house, but they're just not, the file's not easy. It takes a lot of work. Buying a house is hard. People think that it's this easy process. Like they just look at the closing pictures and the, champagne celebration, whatever, tours, whatever you want to call it. Like they look at the fun stuff. It's really not fun. Like it's a lot of work. And I've worked with people before that it takes them 4 years. Like we've worked together with them for 4 years before they ever closed. And sometimes that's what you need. Like sometimes you need people in your corner to say like, okay, here's where you are right now. Here's where you need to be. Here's how to get there. So we work with people with all different income types, credit types, like bankruptcies, foreclosure. Like we work with everybody. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, you think, to answer your question, misconceptions, perfect credit is always a misconception. amount of money in the bank is always a misconception, and the length that you have to be on your job is always a misconception too. Like, you don't have to be on your job for 2 years before you're able to buy all of that kind of stuff. There's ways around a lot of things. Just talk to somebody. Talk to me.
And that's misconception number one is I need to talk to a realtor. No, you don't. You need to talk to a loan officer first
Yeah.
and see where you at.
Yeah.
And just because you're not ready, even if you're not ready, like, oh, I don't have good credit. I just started my job. So what? You need to go see a person like yourself so they can see where they at,
Yeah. For
and they
sure.
can make a plan. Like
Yeah.
you said, you talk to these you're talking about these customers that you work with them for 4 years. And sometimes, that's just like one example. And, maybe you have somebody who closed in 30 days. So there's in between, there's gray areas, but that's where you start. You
Yeah.
start with the a loan officer, and then you make a plan with that person, and then you get yourself a realtor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I understand why people contact the realtor first, because realtors do a really good job of marketing themselves and lenders don't. So a lot of times people don't know that lending, whenever I got in the business, I had no clue that lending or mortgage lenders were even a thing. I didn't even know what it was. So I totally understand why people want to call the realtor first. But yeah, the first step after, if you want to talk to the realtor first, fine. But really the first step is my job. Like, I always kind of equate it to kind of like riding an airplane, right? Like, or going on vacation. Like, there's going to be the process is not fun. Like, whenever you get all of your documents, you submit them, then we rummage all through them and throw out what we need and what we don't need. That's kind of like the TSA part. Like, whenever upload put your suitcase on the little conveyor belt or whatever, and then they stop it and they take it off the thing and say, well, what is this? We can't take that, all of that. That's like the underwriting piece. And then whenever you're actually on the airplane, there might be some turbulence, right? Like, you might go through a cloud and it gets bumpy, or the weather might be bad, or whatever it is. That's kind of certain things, like the appraisal might come in low, or insurance might be really high. There's so many things that could go wrong in a transaction. But kind of, I always say, think of me as like the pilot in the scenario. Like, I'll get you there. I'll just kind of have to get on the intercom and say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's how we fix it. Here's your options. Here's what I recommend. Like, all of that stuff. So I always think of myself as like the pilot in the scenario, and the realtor more so as like, at least whenever they're under contract, because realtors do a lot of work. I really do think that. But whenever they're under contract, they kind of step aside a little bit. And that's whenever I really step in to get you from contract to close. And the realtors are more like the flight attendants in that scenario, because they're like, how we doing? You need anything? Where are we at on this? Like, how's everything going? And then once you get, to the beach and you're on vacation, you're going to forget about the whole thing. That's whenever you get the keys. You're going to forget about everything that led up to that point, and you're only going to focus on the house now. So it is a long process. It's a pain, but that's kind of why we do our job.
Yes, and I love that. I love that. And I'm excited about this episode because I am not a loan originator. Um, but I have my real estate license, and I sold a few houses. I am currently working with an investor. I'm helping him sell land, owner financed. But I sold mobile homes in the past, so I'm very familiar with the sell part, selling the house. And realtors do a lot of stuff, but it is essential. I cannot stress this enough. A realtor is not going to show you a house unless he's a rookie. He's not going to show you a house if you do not have a approval letter.
Yeah.
At least a pre-approval.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, that's up to the realtor. I mean, if you don't want to waste time, I mean, you don't want to, I always think of it from the mindset of like, yes, it's fun to go out and tour houses, but do that on your open houses. Like, if you're a client and you're not approved yet, go to open houses. But if you want private showings or whatever, that's whenever you want to get actually pre-approved, because you don't want to get your hopes up, right? Like, if you're approved for 300,000 or whatever, but you're looking at houses at 375 or 4 or whatever, you're clearly going to fall in love with the $400,000 house. That's just a no-brainer, just because it's bigger and it's, it has more amenity, whatever the reason is that it's priced the way it's priced. Like there's a reason that it's priced that way. So yeah, you're gonna fall in love with it, and then you're gonna get your dreams crushed whenever you talk to me because you can't afford that $400,000 house. So yeah, I would definitely not recommend going out and shopping before you get pre-approved unless you want to get your feelings hurt.
Exactly.
Best case scenario, you can get approved, but what's the trade-off? Would you prefer to get your feelings hurt, or would you prefer to set the right expectations and actually know what you can do? Like it's
Exactly. Yeah, and that's and it's that's how you I think that's how you can separate the good loan officer or realtor or seller or whatever from the bad ones. And it's like we want you to be informed,
for sure,
we want you to do it the right way.
for sure.
So that's like a green flag, you
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
So it's a red flag if you don't if the officer is not explaining to you what you need or why they're doing what they're doing or whether it's a meeting, right? Like, hey, you could get approved for the FHA. This is your options as a conventional loan. This is the differences, and then let you choose, help you make that decision. But at the end of the day, you make the decision.
For sure.
And on the other hand, you have loan officers or realtors where they push you to what is convenient for them. They're
Yeah,
just being lazy.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, we always give two different options on our loan consultations because sometimes clients do qualify for both conventional and FHA. And so I'll run both options for them and say, hey, here's the, three different loan buckets. You have your government loans, your Fannie Mae, your Freddie Mac, and then your non-QM, like your niche programs, like almost think subprime mortgages from back in the day. You qualify for these two buckets. You qualify for government, either whatever it is, VA, USDA, FHA, or you qualify for conventional. And if they qualify for both, then I'll run both options and I'll say, here's the benefits of this one, here's the benefits of this one, here's the cons, you pick. And then we'll go through, if you don't like we'll go through which option that they picked, and then I'll run several different options based on the option that they picked. But I'm only giving them two options up front because we need to make a decision on how we want to structure the loan and how we want to structure the offer now. And then if you want to change the numbers, we can change the numbers based on the option that you picked. But I'm not just going to give you, 20 different options because you want 20 different options. I'm not doing that. Like there's a process that we got to follow. There's a plan. There's a way that we have to do it. There's a way that we have to make those decisions. You can't just, whenever you have five different options in front of you, you get overwhelmed and you shut down like most people do. And they don't want to move forward because it's too much information. So I try to
Right.
minimize the information not minimize the information that I give, but I'm selective in the options that I give because then it'll lead to more options, which is fine. But you don't want to just start off with every single option in the book,
Right, exactly. People get overwhelmed,
for sure.
So that's, I come with this mentality like right now, I do podcasts like we're doing now, which is virtually, but I also do it like in person. And I've been wanting to, because this is my second year doing this podcast. So
Nice.
yeah, it's slowly but surely growing and growing. And so I want to invest into a camera. I
Okay.
have no idea. I don't know anything about cameras, like anything at all.
Yeah.
What I want to do, I want to go to Best Buy or to a store where they sell cameras, and I can tell the guy, hey, I need a battery that is going to last me this long, and it can do this, this, and that, and it's compatible with my microphones. Whatever I need, I tell him what I need, and he's like, oh, okay, here's this.
Yeah.
And it's basically what you're doing with your customers is like like your the stuff that you sell is not tangible, like you can't see it, right? But you have a freaking warehouse full of different things. You're
Hmm.
not gonna go through every single thing and give them those options.
Yeah.
right? You're gonna ask the customer, hey, what are you looking for? Is it commercial? Is it residential? You mostly do residential, right? Hey,
Mhm.
does FHA fits better, conventional? Like you're going through all those things in your head, and you're like, oh, I think I got the right one for you. And then
Yeah.
you present them that option, and maybe you give them another option, right? So you give them one or the other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because loans are, I mean, it's not easy borrowing, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like we are going to look at every single thing. So I always tell my clients that also, like, listen, it's going to be a lot of documentation. I'm letting you know that up front. Like there's going to be times where we'll get some documentation from you, but it might not be exactly what we're looking for. And so we'll have to ask for the same document, but we're looking for specific things. So then we'll ask, like, you might get frustrated in the sense that, like, well, they keep asking them for the same thing over and over and over again. We're not, like, there's a reason that we're asking for the specific type of document. So that's whenever, like, on the second time that we ask for something, we have to walk them through, okay, here's what we're actually looking for. And we'll tell them over the phone, like, can you log onto your app? Do you see any of these buttons? Like, do you see any like headers, footers? Like we need everything. So we'll go through all of that with them, and it's it can be annoying, but yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes these pre-approvals can sometimes take a couple of weeks just because you have such a unique scenario, kind of like what you were saying, like this is the one thing that I'm looking for. This is the one house. I don't want to come out of pocket this amount. So like there's different programs out there that can help you with that, but there's times where we'll have to get on a call, like me, the client, and my ops manager, or me, my client, and the processor, and we'll brainstorm. And the processor, who's been in it like 20 plus years or whatever, works on way more files because she's working with a ton of other loan officers on top of my files, right? So like she's seen a lot more stuff than I have. So sometimes she has ideas that I might not be thinking of, or it's always like just a it's a team effort to get you into the house. It's not just me. There's the underwriter, ops manager, processor, realtor. Like there's so many people that kind of have to tag team everything all at once at times. So yeah, it's definitely a let's go to the drawing board. Let's see what makes the most sense. Here's what I would recommend type of thing, which sometimes.
yeah. And I'm glad you bring that up because a lot of times people just see you and they don't see like behind the scenes there's like a team
Yeah.
behind you helping you, guiding you. So you're not the only one working on that specific file. Like you have
Yeah.
other people helping you, working
Yeah.
working with you.
Yeah. Definitely.
And you guys have the same, like you and the customer have the same goal,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like you get incentivized by helping the customer buy the house,
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, sometimes I want it more than the client does. I've learned. Like sometimes home ownership is the number one way to build wealth in America, right? Second is 401k. So I really do want everybody to be in a house. I think they deserve to buy their own house. Sometimes I want them to get into that house more than they want it. So like sometimes I'll talk with a client, their credit's not where it needs to be to get down payment assistance or to get advantage of this program, whatever it is. They're just not in the right spot right now. Sometimes we have to set them up on a plan. Well, whenever I follow up with them, like let's say a month later or whatever it is, I'll say, hey, how's your credit score doing? Oh, well, it's at the same. Well, did you pay down the accounts that I asked you to pay down? No, I haven't gotten the chance to yet, but I will. So it's things like that I'm like, okay, it seems like I wanted a little bit more than you, so I'm going to let you breathe a little bit. I want you to come back to me whenever you kind of fill out this plan. So yeah, we are working towards the same goal, but sometimes I want it a little bit more. It's just frustrating, but it's all right.
Yeah, it can be a little frustrating, and then at the same time we understand, people have like they have to go to work, they have to do, take care of the kids and do other things, and so you have other things in your mind, and the last thing you want to do is just like sit down and pay some bills that you put them in the back burner, and now you have to pay attention to, and it's like, oh, like another thing to worry about. But there's light at the other side, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's worth it. Like you said, it's a way. And I was thinking, so just because you're not ready to get that dream home I think that you should buy what you can afford, even if it's not what you really like. But
Mhm.
so you have two options basically. Either you rent for the next 10 years or you get into a house that you don't really like for the next five, because you have to pay where you live anyway. And
Mhm.
then when you build a little bit of equity, you get all your stuff together, your credit, and you get a better job from 5 years from now. You excel in your career or whatever it is. Now you can get that dream home.
Yeah, definitely. I know you got to start small. I mean, especially everybody always says, "Oh, this is going to be my forever home." No, it's not. It's not. Like if you're on maybe your third house, yeah, it probably is going to be your forever home or whatever, but people are not going to buy one house and live in it forever. They're just not. Like things change, especially if you're, I mean, if you aren't married or you don't have kids or anything like that, kids change everything, I've learned. Like they change everything. And so it's not going to be, you have to get into something that you're going to have to come to terms with, like what are your non-negotiables, what are your negotiables. So do you have to absolutely have that walk-in closet right now, or can you wait, a handful of years and get a bigger walk-in closet whenever you're actually in a better position later on? So yeah, I was sitting here with a lady last night. It was 7 p.m. We were sitting here at my office, and it was she's never bought a house before. She wanted to see kind of where she stood or whatever, and we were just going over some numbers, and I didn't pull her credit or anything, but she was kind of telling me where she was, and she was floating around the 540 range credit score wise. And she was telling me what her income was, and I was asking her what her husband's income was. And I was asking, okay, tell me your debts. What are your monthly bills? Everything included, not just like, credit cards. I'm talking student loans, if you have any, car notes, installment, everything. Tell me your monthly debt. So I kind of hand wrote all of her stuff and did the math manually, and she could totally afford the price point that she was running right now, but her credit score just wasn't there yet. And so I was telling her, I was like, again, homeownership's the number one way to build wealth. So do you have kids? And she said, yes. And I was like, did your parents ever own a house? And she said, no. And I was like, what do you think would have are your parents still with us? And she said, no. And I said, what do you think would have happened if your parents had passed away and they did have a house? Do you think you would have gotten that house? And she said, probably. And I said, yeah, you probably would have. And then I said, do it for your kids, because we want to make sure that your kids in the future are secure, right? So like you don't want your kids to having to deal with your issues as well. Like you want to set your kids up for a better future, right? So just follow the credit plan that I gave you, follow the exact steps, come back to me in 3 months and we'll talk again. And then if you're not at the point there in 3 months, then we'll do another one. You said your time frame was this year. Well, that could be in December, right? So like we're only in March. Like we have plenty of time to work on this. So it's just a starting point. You just have to have a conversation with somebody and see where you are, and get a plan set for yourself.
And specifically, that lady, what was her issue with her credit? Like, what was hurting her credit?
She had quit I don't remember if she quit or got laid off. I don't remember. But she said that whenever she did, she kept swiping the credit cards, just living the same lifestyle without income coming in at the time. And it was like for maybe a month or two where she didn't have a job. And because of that, she was still living the same lifestyle and swiping. Well, then, of course, it snowballs, right? Like credit card debt is horrible. Um, and she couldn't make the payment. She fell back, on the credit card bills, and ultimately her score tanked. And I told her, unfortunately, your credit is one of those things where it takes forever to build sometimes, and it takes no time to just tank. So we got to be careful on what we're doing with your credit cards. So something like that. She lost her job and she stopped making the payments.
It's kind of like weight. It's really easy to gain weight. It's really hard to lose weight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I've learned as well. Yeah, it's I can see that.
So yeah, I've been there myself. It's so hard. You want to keep living this lifestyle that you got used to, And then whenever, especially like I'm in sales, so you have one bad month or two bad months, and you're like, oh, let's just use a credit card, no worries. And then 3 months go by, and then it's like, oh crap, now I'm behind,
Yeah.
and it just like domino effect. It just keeps
Yeah.
going, keeps
I mean, we've
happening.
all been through it, dude. Like
Yeah.
people like to, I see it all the time. Like I see people's credit reports all the time, and they act like they make a boatload of money, and they got the nice stuff. I mean, everybody's going through the same thing. Like we've all been through it.
And for anyone listening, um, I think I googled this, and you can Google it too. I think 1 out of 3 Americans has bad credit
Mm,
for whatever reason. And there's so many reasons. There's divorce, there's debt, there's death in the family, there's accidents, there's I mean, you name it. There's so many things that can happen. People getting sick, or
yeah,
whatever, things that are out of your control. Like most, sometimes it's in your control, but then you just make dumb decisions, and sometimes it's out of your control. It just life happens.
yeah,
And so, um, I, me being in sales and dealing with a lot of people, and they're submitting applications and looking at their credit and stuff. I noticed there's a lot of people that they get embarrassed on the stuff.
hmm,
And I want to let them know there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, like, especially if you're dealing with a professional, there's nothing that you have to be embarrassed about,
yeah,
because it's kind of like a doctor. Like, if you have something embarrassing going on, you have to let that doctor see you and see what's hurting, in
mm,
order for them to heal you. And same thing, you're kind of like the doctor in this scenario, right? Like, you have to let the people see their income, see their, I mean, it's very private. A lot of times, not even family members don't like to share, like,
yeah,
or talk about money, right? So it's like a very taboo
yeah,
subject. So it's very weird to talk about it with a stranger,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes I feel like it's more well for me. Sometimes it's more comfortable to talk about it with a stranger because, yeah, you're right. I mean, family members, friends, like they can kind of get a little, weirded out, or they might feel a certain way for like if my friend knew how much I make, like there it is weird. Like you don't want to cross that line. Like now we're getting really, really personal. I'm knowing everything about your finances. Like that can be very uncomfortable for people. So I think it's better for that's why I think it's important to work with somebody who your realtor trusts, right? So like whenever most of the time, like you said earlier, like people contact the realtor first instead of the lender. That's very common. So your realtor does this for a living. Like he or she is working with clients every single day, from all across different, financial backgrounds or whatever. So they see a lot too. And so they they know which, loan officer or insurance agent or financial advisor, like they know who to refer based on your personality or your finances or whatever. So, you know, get a recommendation for them. Like get a who would you use in this situation? Like bounce ideas off of your realtor because I'm sure that they know who to refer as well. Like that's why I don't think that, like I always ask my client, "Oh, how do you know Luis?" Like I want them to know I actually know you because in the world that we're living in now, it's very digital, right? It's very social media driven, or it's you get if you fill out one application, you might have 20 different lenders calling you. I mean, you will have 20 different lenders calling you because there's trigger leads and all kinds of stuff, right? So they're buying your information off of your credit report or whatever it is, right? So like you want to make sure that your realtor and your lender are a team. So it's not it is a stranger, right? Like we've never met, but I'm there and I'm in your corner because I'm in the realtor's corner too, and we're working together on a common goal, like you mentioned earlier too. So yeah, it's important to work with those people that you like and trust.
and and I think what you're trying to say is like you take it personal when somebody refers you somebody, because that means a lot, because that means they thought of you and you can't let them down, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, most lenders understand that like we are we're not the face of your business, but we are an aspect of your business, right? On the realtor side. So if a realtor refers us and we mess up, that looks bad on the realtor. It looks bad on us too, but the realtor referred. So the realtor feels bad because, they screwed it up. The client didn't have a good vibe with the lender or whatever. So now the realtor feels bad because they referred that person. So we want to make sure that we're actually taking really, really good care of the client, having them come in and sit down with us and having the conversation and actually getting to know that person and not just saying, okay, here you go, here's a fee sheet, go out and shop. Like that's horrible, especially if you've never been through it before and this is your first time buying a house. You want to make sure that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You want to make sure that you're ready and you have the money to cut the check for closing and you have the means to make that payment. And I'm not just going to like blindside you by the time you get to closing with an extra $100 payment on your mortgage or whatever it is. Like it's important that you take the time and meet the person for sure.
tell me, for the people that are watching us, what is a normal appointment? You meet people in your office? Do you meet people somewhere else, maybe at the realtor's office, or how does it usually go?
So it normally goes, it's either in person. I'm always recommending in person first, always, just because it's better to get belly to belly with people, I think. And they understand a little, like they retain more information I've found if they meet in person with me. If they can't, like if they're super far away or whatever, and they can't get off work in time or whatever it is, like I usually allocate 2 days a week to stay late at the office for those types of appointments if they want to drive to the office. If they can't, then it's a virtual meeting like this, like it's a Teams call. And sometimes we've done them like on people's lunch breaks and things like that. But I have to see you and you have to see me because we screen share with you. If you can't make it in person, like we show you numbers with charts and graphs and what makes the most sense for you. Like it's a catered to you experience. It's not like, it's not a here's what you're approved for, go have fun. Like we need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So I mean, I don't know why you would not. Like it's not like if you're doing that same thing, if you go in person to buy a car, why would you not go in person to buy the house? Like you have to meet with the financial manager at the car dealership or whatever to make sure that, okay, here's the documents I need to sign, here's this, here's that. Do you understand, that the payment's going to be this, the APR is that, whatever it is that they do. I hate that experience, by the way. But you need to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Like it's not a $30,000 car or a $50,000. It's a $300,000 house. It's way bigger, so we need to take it a little bit more serious. So yeah, it's always either in person or virtually.
Is the biggest purchase of your life,
100%.
potentially,
Yep.
unless you're like an investor and you're buying, a lot of houses a year or whatever the case is. But for most people, this is going to be like their biggest purchase they're going to make in the next 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
So it is important that you take time, and meet you. Where is your office located at?
We're in Rockwall. We are we're off of Ridge Road on the north side. We're kind of behind Walmart. So White Hills Drive and Turtle Cove Boulevard, I think is what it's called. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, on the, whenever we finish this meeting, you can text me like all the information you want me to add on the video, and then I can put it on there so people know how to reach you. If you want to put your address, your office address, or email, phone number. Are you on social media?
I am, yeah. I need to be way better at social media. I mean, like I said earlier too, like lenders don't do a bad job, or lenders do a bad job at marketing themselves. Most of them do. There are some really good ones out there. But yeah, I need to be better at social media, big time.
I mean, you're pretty good at I don't I don't remember if I maybe I had you on my realtor's email, but I used to get your emails all the time that you'd make like a 5 minute video
Yeah,
and then you will explain something.
maybe 2 minutes. Like I keep it quick.
Yeah, yeah, maybe like a few minutes. It's really quick, but it's very informative. Do you keep doing those? Are you still doing those?
So we got a new. So we're no, I haven't done those in the last I think month because we got a new CRM and we're trying to figure out how to get those emails out there. But yeah, I'm gonna start again for sure. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I like
I
doing it.
mean, yeah. Are you like, and it's hard, it's weird. You have a kid. I have kids. So like sometimes like you don't want to mix like your social media and your personal life and it's just
Yeah.
weird. So what do you do when it comes to that?
Um, I don't really. I don't I don't know if I have an answer for that. I don't really do a whole lot of posting for either one, really. I don't post a lot on my personal. I comment a lot on stuff from other like family members, friend, realtors, work, because I'm friends with a lot of my clients on Facebook too. Like I comment a lot. I maybe post more stories than I do actual post. I do know there's one like I do a letter from the heart every single month, and I post that on my social media. I'm going to post it tomorrow actually for this month. And that's just more personal, but I do post that on my business page. I email that and I snail mail like old school. Oh, I'm getting a call. Steve. There you go. Okay. But yeah, I do a letter from the heart, and that's more personal about like me, my family, what's going on, what I like, what a conversation that I had this month that I want to talk about, or just like, little sales thing that I'm learning about myself, or whatever, things like that. And I email that and snail mail that to my entire database, and I post that on social media. That's really the thing that I consistently do on social media, and that goes on my work page. But I'm mainly more active on my personal. I don't really post a whole lot of my work. Yeah.
I would recommend the YouTube just because it's not social media, right? It's just more like a database of videos that you want to upload, and it's like you can make playlists that are specific to whatever. So you can have a playlist of, and you can keep it private. So let's say you do videos of a vacation that you had with your family, you can keep it private where you can save it. It doesn't take storage on your phone, and you can watch it whenever. And that's one of the reasons I do it. It's because I'm thinking I have three daughters, right? So if anything ever happens to me or when I'm not here anymore, they can go back and see videos of
Yeah.
their dad. You know what I mean? Or maybe if I become a grandfather, like my grandson or
Yeah.
granddaughter be able to see me, because imagine if you had like hours of YouTube of your grandparents or
Yeah.
grandparents.
Crazy.
I mean, that would be so cool. Like, how were they thinking at that time, and what year was it, and what was going on? You can see if you can hear them. That would be awesome, right? Or even like a voice recording. So that's one of the reasons I like to do it. It's just I keep my family in mind. And then another reason is for, I'm in sales, so it's like a personal branding, right?
Mhm.
You can't fake an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can fake like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes videos and be happy or whatever. But like if you really don't care about people or what you're selling, or if you don't believe for what you're selling or doing, people can smell that miles away,
For sure.
like in an instant.
Yeah.
So I really like to get into these hour conversations, 2 hour conversations, because you really get to know the person. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I know you personally, so that's why it's like I I pick the people that I know that are gonna be a good fit. Like for example, you're a good lender, right? Like it's really hard to find uh, good lenders. It's kind of like really hard to find good mechanics.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So, and what I mean by that, like when it comes to lending, you want your lender to be responsive. A lot of times, I forget to even call you or text you or email you back, and then you'll call me or text me. You follow up. You give me calls. Like that's a green flag.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a lender and they didn't respond in 24 hours or 48 hours, it's like, you
Yeah.
might not want to do business with this person, but you have like really good communication. You like to explain things. And like you were saying earlier in the video, you're not lazy. You are willing to work those hard customers, and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's good. And it's not necess- it is beneficial to you because I think that you're doing what you're doing because you have a vision of doing it long term. Because if what somebody was doing it short term just to get quick money, they wouldn't really care to help people, because I think you're doing it because if you do a good job with that person who really needs help and it's like a really complicated case, what are they going to say about you? Well, they're going to refer you to their friends and family,
Yeah.
and so that kind of tells me that you're here for the long haul, and you're thinking about not just selling that customer in the next 30 days, but like you said, you have customers that takes 4 years.
Yeah.
So you're really thinking ahead of, hey, I'm gonna be here for a long time. And that's another green flag. Hey, you want somebody who is going to be there 5 years from now. So maybe when you are ready to sell your house and you're ready to move to the dream home, you can call the same guy, and now you have a relationship. Now it's not a stranger anymore. Now you feel comfortable going back to that same person.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always, you kind of have to think. I mean, I've seen people that, because I've been doing this, I guess September will be six years now. Yeah. And I've always kind of known, like as soon as I started, it was funny. I didn't, again, know that lending was a thing, but I always had some sort of interest in real estate. I always thought that it was so interesting and fun and different, energetic. And so I knew that I wanted to be kind of tied into real estate at some point. But I didn't know what there was. I didn't know what, a escrow officer was, a lender. I knew what a realtor was because that's what you see like on social media, TV, that kind of stuff, all of those TV shows. But my mentor, boss, whatever you want to call her, really, I reached out to her because she was a lender, and my dad suggested that I reach out to her. My major was finance in college, so he said just reach out to her and see if that's something that you'd be interested in doing. So I did, and this was during COVID. September of 2020 is whenever I actually started at Summit. But I had called her. I
Oh,
think,
wow.
yeah, I think I started, or I think I called her like maybe, I think it was sometime in the summer, like around May or June, and I said, hey, I'm interested in learning what it is that you do. I know that you're, mortgage lender, and I don't really know what that is. I don't know what that means, but I'm interested in learning more about it. And she goes, yeah, I think you'd be, good at it, but I want you to come watch me work first. And at the time, I didn't know that was COVID, right? And I didn't know anything about anything. So I didn't know that the market was insane and everybody was buying a house and refinancing. Like she was swamped. And I didn't know that at the time. I just thought that that was normal. And so she goes, yeah, I want you to come watch me work first before you make a decision. And everybody was working from home at this point. And so I went to her house and I watched her work, and I thought, that's exactly, I didn't know what it was that I was watching, but it was so fast paced, and it felt like the perfect blend, which fit my personality perfectly. Like it was problem solving a little bit on files, and getting people, figuring out a way to make something happen. And then also getting to meet a lot of realtors and cool people, insurance agents, like networking type stuff. Like it was a perfect blend of sales and also problem solving. So I sat in my car in her driveway at the end of the day for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, just sat there in the car. And I was thinking, what was that? Like, what the heck was that? What did I see? What did I watch? It was so overwhelming and but very exciting. And I knew that that's definitely what I wanted to do. And I've been doing it ever since. And it was I do think long term about decisions that I make in this industry and in this business. And you see people that don't think about those things and they, just want to help quickly make money or quickly, help the easy deal or do the easy deals, which everybody, of course, wants the easy deals, right? Everybody wants to help the buyer that has a 760 credit score, $100,000 in the bank, and is going to put 20%. Everybody wants those deals, right? But I think about it as, okay, those will just naturally come. I got to go find people that work with the first time home buyers that will eventually move and make, do another transaction. And maybe I'll get that next transaction. Maybe I won't. Hopefully I will because I continue to follow up with them. So of course, whenever you also get into the industry after a handful of years, you start to get recruited and people start calling you, things like that to work for them. So like you have to think of it as, I think, in order to last, you have to think long term of what's going to be the best route. And I'm not sitting here like acting like I have all the answers because I really don't. I've only been doing it 6 years, right? But I'm saying that to say I always do think about what's going to be the best thing long term for sure.
Well, you've been, and you started, like you said, you started in a really crazy time during
And I had no
COVID.
idea that it was. I was thrown into it, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I was working on like, I think I touched maybe either from 150 to 200 files, I think, in that short, because I didn't start going out on my own and becoming my own loan officer until February of 2022. So I was kind of like an assistant on another loan officer's team here in my office. So I was working on a boatload of files because it was refis, purchases, everybody and their mother was buying. And so it was crazy. Yeah, I definitely did. But I didn't even know. I thought that was normal. And then whenever I got in February of 2022 and made the jump, interest rates tripled within like a month and everybody stopped buying. And I'm like, well, where's everybody at? Like, talk about bad timing. So yeah, it was a grind for a minute and it still is, but it's fun.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. How, dang, that must have been, I don't even know how to describe it, because you weren't a loan officer yet from 2020 to 2022.
Yeah. Yeah. The program that I was in, it was called like a mortgage loan apprentice program to where you are hired underneath the loan officer and that loan officer kind of teaches you the business a little bit. Here's what to look out for. Here's how to structure a file, like that kind of stuff. Um, and the program was only supposed to last 6 months. And I was in it for a little over a year. It was like a year and a half or something like that. And whenever it became time for me to make the jump, I was not ready. I was like, I don't feel like I know enough. And so I was in it way longer than I should have been, but I'm glad that I made the jump whenever I did, because some of the people that kind of hung on to the MLA thing, like they kept on in that position, but at that time, whenever interest rates jumped up and not a whole lot of people were buying, like whenever there's an influx of applications coming through, people closing on houses, like mortgage companies typically hire people. Well, whenever that stops, then they let people go, right? So whenever the people were continuing on in that position, they became almost like a liability at that point because they weren't bringing in new business. They were just on the payroll. And so I jumped at the perfect time because 6 months after that is whenever they kind of started doing layoffs, or maybe a year after that. So I think the timing's perfect. I think God has definitely played a factor in where I am today, 100%. So I think it's all God's timing in my case. But yeah, it was, I just hit the ground running and I had to meet as many people as I possibly could whenever I first made that jump. And I was going on like 10 appointments a week at times because I didn't have anything else to do. Like I literally just went to open houses or realtors offices or whatever it was and met people and then called them on Monday and said, hey, I want to meet with you. I'm new in the business and I want to learn from you. Like the goal obviously was to get business from those realtors and like see if that could be a potential partnership. But I just pitched it as a like, hey, I'm here to learn. Can you coach me? And then they were more likely to take the meeting, right? So I met with a boatload of people at that time because I had to. I had no leads, nobody to call. I was just like pounding the phones for prospecting. So yeah, it was a grind, and I still do that every now and then. But yeah, it's been fun. I like that though. Like I like the hard work. It feels really really good to work your butt off and then go home and relax and think like, okay, I killed it today. Like that feel. There's nothing better than that feeling, in my opinion. To go home after a really really hard day of work, where you made a boatload of calls, talked to a boatload of people, and met a lot of people, sent thank you cards, sent videos out, like you killed the day. And then you go home and play with your son. Like that feels so good. And I hate the days where I don't do that and I like slack off, or I'm on my phone on social media for an hour. And I know I do that and I hate that. But then I'll feel behind and I hate going home thinking, wow, what did I do today? Like I hate that feeling. So I'm would much
Oh man,
rather kill the day every day if I possibly can.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that feeling. It's like, dude, what did I do?
Yeah, I hate it. So whenever my son was born, I stopped doing that because there were times where I would not feel it like making calls, and I just was one of those days where it's like I'm not in the mood. I don't want to do it. Like I feel not really in the best mood to talk to people. I don't want to talk to people. It's just one of those funky moods to get in, and we all have those moods where we just want to go home. And in this, like unfortunately, but also fortunately, we're in a position where we can make that choice. Like I can make the choice of going home and just hitting it hard the next day. Well, after a certain amount of time, like if you continue to do that, you're gonna get screwed. And so it's whenever my son was born, I said, okay, moving forward, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm going to the office and I'm forcing myself to make calls and get in front of people, even if I don't want to. And it's worked. Like it's been a great year so far. But you have to treat it like a job, which it is a job. But a lot of realtors and lenders don't treat it that way. Like they treat it as you're self-employed, which you are self-employed, but self-employed people still have to, or I guess you're commission only, not technically self-employed. Same thing though. You have to treat it in a way that you are clocked in, and you don't get off till 5. You have to treat it the same way. So
I think the difference is when you're in a job. Well, there's two major differences. When you're in a job, one of them is your boss keeps you accountable. Like you have somebody breathing behind your ear and telling you what to do. And if you like that, then you're a good fit for a job. And then the second thing is that most jobs pay per hour or salary. So that's it. You can maybe put some extra overtime, but there's so many hours in the day
yeah,
before you can, so you can get your max. Like you get a ceiling, you hit a ceiling. And what I like about sales and just like the type of industry that we're in, which is real estate, is like, yeah, you have to keep yourself accountable. There's nobody breathing in your ear, and like you have to push yourself. It's like you have to make yourself get out of bed and work out and do the phone calls and do the things that you have to do. And that that gives you character, the forced character. And the second thing is that your income, yeah, sometimes you might have a bad month and not make the money that you were expecting or needing for that month, but the sky is the limit. So if you work your butt off and you make a bunch of leads and they all come through and you have a good month, you could be you could make more money than somebody who's working for a salary or hourly.
yeah,
And that's very, like you said, that's that feeling that you get whenever you do everything right and everything goes well and then everybody closes and everybody's happy, and not just for the money, but you also feel good about giving people something that's gonna go up in value instead
mhm,
of a car. You know what
mhm,
I mean? And nothing against people selling cars. I used to sell cars myself, but I I like selling houses, land, mobile homes, things that go up in value, that it's gonna give people better, higher quality of life.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree for sure. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's an emotional roller coaster sometimes, but yeah, if you can stick it out, then it'll pay off, I think.
Yeah. And I know you have to go.
Yep,
So thank you so much for your time.
of course.
Please tell people where they can find you.
You can, oh man, what's my Facebook? Grant McKee is my Facebook. Grant McKee Summit, I think, is my uh professional Facebook page, I guess, if you want to call it. But yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Find me anywhere really. I'm not really on X or Threads. I have Threads, but I don't use it.
Right.
Not really on YouTube. It's really just Facebook and Instagram. You can email me, obviously, text, whatever you want. I'm pretty easy to find.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. Just send me all your information and I'll put it in the description below. Again, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
And talk to you later.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
That's a wrap on another one. Subscribe, please.